I'm Forrest. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. We have never tried this before. I'm going to review some tight, questionable calls. These are all going to be foil calls, and I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to give my reaction to some of these calls. So we're going to go over 10 of them, and I don't know what order I have these touches. Some of them I've seen before, some of them I have not. I've tried to not already see all of them, but some of them I pay attention to fencing all the time. It's my life, so I already know some of them. But we're gonna review on my trusty laptop here 10 tightly contested calls, and I'm gonna give you my opinion. Just to give you a little insight, I am not only a coach, but I am also a rated referee. I've been doing it for many years. I am a 3 in foil, which is pretty high up, and I have done Division 1, top 8 bouts. I've done gold medal bouts for junior, for cadet, and all these other age categories. I've also refereed at cadet European circuits internationally, so I have had my fair share of high-level bouts that I've done. So for this is all opinion, and it's also a lot easier for me seeing a repeated video over and over and over again. And when you're refereeing, when you're reviewing videos, so if you're the main one on the bout, you're the main referee, and you go to review the video, whether they wanted to review it, they want a video review, or you felt like you needed to go back and look at it, you should not stare at the video for very long. You should only give it like 1, 2, 3, 4 glances at the repeat of the video, because it's going to start playing with you and you're going to start thinking twice about the call you made. You should kind of go with your gut most of the time, but just review it a few times. You don't want it to warp. You don't want to take some opinion and change it too much. So it's really important to just go to the video, watch it a handful of times. Don't slow it down too much. So for those people who are going to be new to doing video refereeing, if you slow something down to like 50% speed, which you can do on those computers, it's going to change a lot of things. So maybe it'll help you find the blade contact, so you know, like, oh yeah, there was blade. But if you're just looking for these stop-goes, sometimes those really slow speeds are going to warp what actually happened. You're going to think there was a preparation when there really wasn't a preparation. So when you're refereeing foil and saber as well, you're going to want to try and be as close to the real speed. So always watch full speed, of course, and then very close. Slow it down a little tiny bit, but don't overdo it. You got to make sure you're watching very close to full speed and full speed. Maybe in epee it's a little easier to slow it way down so you can see if someone stepped out and when they hit. But we're not going to review any epee today. We're going to review foil only. So the key is watch the video, don't overwatch it, and don't slow it down too much. Okay, let's go ahead and watch our 10 tight, heated, difficult to call touches. All right, let's get with the first one. So this is Garrett versus Chung. This is at the recent Grand Prix in Doha. So it looks like Garrett goes for an attack. He gets parried, but there's no immediate response. It's a parry, and then Chung is looking for his riposte, but he hasn't really made a commitment to his riposte. He's thinking about it for too long. He's preparing for too long. So it looks like Garrett sees that preparation and just goes for a reprise. So I would say attack is parried, riposte is no, reprise, touche point for Garrett. Okay, time for the second one. Let's see what's up. Okay, this is 2 Russians. Oh yeah, this one is at a Russian event, Russian national event. It's Ahmed Kuzen and Cuts. Now this one's tight. This was really tight. I have a feeling I'm going to go with a different opinion than a lot of people. So the fencer on the right, Cuts, is the first one to start the attack. That's for certain, at least on the legs. But he goes forward, he feints, and then he does a pull back with his blade, with his arm. Kuzen, who is late to start initially off the feet, goes full commitment into Kutz's preparation. For me, this one's tight, but I think Kuzen's attack into preparation wins out here. I think from what I read on a few places, a lot of people are just saying attack for right. But in my opinion, he's feinting and pulling. He's trying to draw something out there, and he's getting that attack into preparation. He's hitting late. So why would you need to pull your arm unless you're trying to avoid some blade contact? There's no purpose behind that unless you're adding this extra layer of preparation. So for me, this is attack into preparation for Kuzen. Attack left, touche point. Okay, number 3. All right, so this one is, we got Chung again, and then we have Chupanich this time. This looks like the Grand Prix in Anaheim. Not sure what year this is, probably the most recent one, 2019. This one's tight. This one's really close. So if you look, I like to break this one down in a few different ways. If I was the video ref, or I walked back to look at the video, review the video, you want to kind of look at it in 2 stories. So if I cover half of it, just look at the commitment of the arm and the feet from one side, and then do the same thing for the other side. It's very similar in the timing. So in terms of footwork, I'd say it's a simultaneous. So if we look on the arms though, they both have a hitch. So like they both have a little preparation. It's very mild, a little pull back, a little time, and they both commit. A hair for me goes to Chung. It looks like he has a little edge over Chupanich, and he looks like he's making the attack. So it would be either attack off target for the left for Chung, or just play it safe and call it simultaneous. This is tight. This is as tight as can be. And if I was the fencer on the strip, I would not be upset if my referee said simultaneous. It could easily go either way, and it's kind of frustrating when you're the fencer in this scenario, and it's kind of like a coin flip. So I would prefer the simultaneous rather than losing the touch on this one. So I would say either a hair Chung or simultaneous. This is maybe one of the tighter calls that I've seen in a long time. So I'll go, let's play it safe. Simultaneous, no touch. On to number 4. Okay, this is Casara and Macialis fencing. This one, this is a tight call. So there's a definite stop from both fencers. They both are ready fence, going for a little bit of preparation, trying to read each other in the middle. But then after the stop, Casara on the left is the first one to start his feet. But for me, more importantly, Alex in this sees that preparation that Casara has on the arm. Casara goes and pulls and then goes. Alex goes direct. He goes straight right into that preparation. It's such a mild, it's such a little preparation. But for me, this is both fencers stop, and Casara adds that prep. Alex Macialis extends and attacks into that preparation. So for me, this is attack for the right, touche point, Alex's touch. Time for number 5. Let's see. Okay, so this is Lee versus Meinhardt. So now I think I've seen this one before. So with this one, I don't believe either fencer is really finding successfully any blade contact. So if we just take that out of the equation, let's say there's no blade, which I don't believe there was here. it's just two fencers jumping into preparation, jumping into distance, looking for blade. It's very similar timing, both not finding what they want, but they both go into it at the same time. So for me, this one's pretty straightforward. This one looks like simultaneous. No one gets this touch. They both want very similar actions, very similar timing. They're not finding the blade, and they both go in for the attack. Attack simultaneous, no touch. Okay, next one, number 6. Let's see. Okay, we got Chung again, always with the tight calls, I guess, and Saito from Japan. So, this one, okay, I see where people would think it's tight. The question here is if Saito is stopping his attack or if he's continuing his attack. Is he slowing it down and then finishing later, or is he doing a complete attack no and then Chung is going? So we have to look at Saito alone really on this one. So if you watch Saito go forward, to me, I don't think he's stopping. I'm not sure what the ref called on this one, but it looks like he goes a little flurry, a little tempo change for a second, and he smooths it out for a second. And he does that because he wants Chung to stay closer. He's trying to draw Chung to a closer attack to finish his attack. So yeah, for me, this is just attack right all the way. Chung is assuming that Saito stops. He's not that far off because he does a good job. Saito does a great job disguising that. But for me, it's one continuous press all the way, attack touche for Saito. Time for number 7. Okay. This is Zachenko and Saito. We got Saito back-to-back touches here. So, let's see. Zachenko keeps feinting into time. Actually, he's doing point in line, or attempting point in line here. Let's see. So Saito is trying to push. He's trying to take the blade on these presses. He sees the point in line, and he takes it successfully earlier in the action. But, okay, for me, Saito on the most critical part right before the action ends, he searches for a beat into Zachenko's attempted point in line. And Zachenko puts the blade out in point in line and successfully disengages Saito's attempted beat. So for me, the line is out, the search is attempted, Zachenko successfully disengages it and then finishes. For me, this is the point in line for Zachenko. This one's pretty close though, because the point in line, it's not out there. Like if you had it out there for a long time, this would be super clear, and I don't think anybody would be arguing it. I think that what makes it a tight call is the length of time the point in line is held out there. So for me, what really sells it, and that's why I want to give the point in line, is the failed beat right before the attempt to finish the attack. It's not successful, the disengage is, so for me, I'm going to give the weight to that point in line. So for me, point in line, Zachenko's touch. This one's close. Moving on to number 8. Okay, I remember this one. This is Sanita and Imboden fencing here, and what happens is if we just look at Race's part of the action here, Race goes forward and prepares the attack, he stops. It's pretty clear. And if we look back over at Sanita here, he jumps forward and also kind of makes Race stop with that little jump in. He's like trying to act like he's going to counterattack or attack and prep. But what's different here is that after they both have these stops, Race pretty much just goes forward again to set up his reprise. Sanita, if you watch closely, he does like a jump back, step back, and then he goes on the attack. So it's that very similar timing. They both go to the middle, they both stop. But Race is committing forward at this time, where Sanita has one extra step to think about it by jumping back, and then he makes the attack. So for me, this is Race's attack. This one's pretty close, but I think it's pretty clear though. Sanita, just that bouncy footwork kind of did him in on this action because Race was more clear-cut and direct to it, and Sanita, that extra preparation, the extra bounce there, took away the timing. So for me, this is really close, but definitely I feel confident in saying it's Race's attack. And time for number 9. Almost done, so sad. Okay, finally we have a women's bout here. So this is Zagduli and Deriglazova, both from Russia. So this is a good one. So the Getaway Go, that's what we're watching right here. So the fencer on the left breaks fencing distance as Deriglazova on the right is pressing. So she has the attack, but she's kind of preparing it. She's marching slowly, one step at a time forward. So the fencer on the left breaks distance, definitely out of the attack distance, and then is definitely, for sure, the first one to start. So the way that it's called now, and it's been called for a long time, is that if you break distance, if you get away and then go, and you're the first one to commit to the attack, the other person's preparing. If they wanted to attack, they would have caught up to that distance that you just broke. But they didn't. They were just going slow, just marching forever. And the fencer on the left breaks and attacks, full commitment. So the big question you have to look out for these kinds of calls is, did the fencer actually break distance? Like, do they just, a lot of times referees don't call because they're not paying attention to the distance change. Like they just see that one person's attacking and they just totally forget that the other person's even breaking distance. So they just see this one commitment, and that's a mistake. So the fencer on the left successfully, in my opinion, breaks distance and creates the attack. So if Deriglazova on the right wanted to make this her attack, she would have caught that distance up and then been able to commit, and I would have called it for her. But she didn't. She just maintained that same tempo, didn't really do anything, and the fencer on the left broke and go. So attack left. This one is this is a common theme that you see a mistake on. I think I'm glad this is a great example touch to see for fencers to learn, especially at higher levels, that you can break distance, but you can't be surprised if your referee does not call it that way for you. So I'd be careful. So if you get away go, ask your referee, like, why is it their touch? Nicely, of course, be kind to your referees. But don't be surprised if they just say, oh, they were attacking all the way. You can say what you think you did. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. But if you properly broke distance and attack, it should be yours. But this is a common mistake, so you might see this mistake happen all the time. But for me, attack on the left. And to our final touch that we're going to review today, number 10, we have Kenji Bravo and Choi of Korea. This is at Junior Worlds that just happened. This is the action that everybody's discussing recently. This is the big hot topic for tight calls in fencing. Now, the big question is Kenji preparing his attack and then maybe trying to search for the blade? And then Choi, is he attacking into preparation? Or is Kenji simply just attacking and finishing and Choi is counterattacking? This one's pretty tight. Kenji does have that little preparation off the hand. But for me, the big thing to see here is Choi. When he goes in for his attack and prep, or what he hopes is attack and prep, he goes for it, and after he hits, he's immediately trying to close out. So for me, you can't do two things at once. You cannot attack and counterattack. You can't, if it's your attack, you should commit to it being your attack. You wouldn't go for attack and turn or anything like this afterwards. Also for me, Kenji looks like he's just trying to change lines and finish. So for me, I see he's coming here, and then Choi kind of finishes strong at this like awkward angle, so he's going to get locked out unless he kind of pulls and turns and changes the angle. So for me, this one's pretty tight, and I can see why it's a very heated touch, especially at 14-14. This is at 14-40. This is the final touch of the bout. I would say this is attack left for Bravo, And it's a counterattack for Choi. He's just counterattacking. You shouldn't try to close out. If you want attack and prep, you got to commit to being attack and prep. So Kenji does have some preparations there. This would be a little bit of a different story if Choi just like lunged and just hit and just committed to that. But the way that he hits this with the closeout afterwards, the attempted close, Kenji still lands. So it's attack left for me. Alright everyone, those were our 10 tightly contested touches that we reviewed. We're all out of touches for now. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want anything in particular covered, let me know. Send me a message on Instagram or leave a comment on this video or any other video and say, hey, I want to see insert blank video here. And I'll do my best to cover it. So I will be more regular with my videos going forward, but I want you guys to engage with me. So hopefully I will see you guys and hear from you guys soon. And just wait for the next video. Okay, bye guys.